Today I'm going to be reviewing the Origin Effects SlideRig. The SlideRig, or the SlideRig Compact, which is the model that I'm using here, was inspired by the Little Feat frontman Lowell George, who created his trademark slide sound by recording through a pair of Uri 1176 compressors. On this demo, I'm using two different guitars, a stock Strat, which is tuned up to A, but I have 10 to 46 strings on it, so they're pretty light. And my other Strat is based off Ry Cooder's Coodercaster. And it has a Lola lap steel pickup in the Brutes position. Now this guitar is tuned down to open G and has heavier strings, so it's kind of got a chunkier, thicker tone. Now I'm playing through a Fender Vibroverb, which is rated at around 35 watts. It's very simple in its design, which I like, volume, treble and bass, and I've got everything set at around 12 o'clock. The in and out controls, the two dials at the top. This is the preamp section of the pedal. Now I like the way this drives the front end of your amp into a kind of breakup, but you'll hear with my 67 Strat, with the old single coils, it just gets noisy. Now that's not down to the pedal, that's down to the pickups, but you can hear it thicken up the tone. The other thing is, the Strat is really not set up for open A tuning or playing slide because the strings, in my mind, are just too light. 10 to 46, just a bit too thin, especially on that top E string. So with some heavier strings, I don't think that would be as apparent. Now the gold guitar, it's got the Jason Lola pickup in it, so I'm not getting that kind of noise. So when I engage the compressor, you can drive the output, the input, and you can beef up that clean signal that I've got there through the Vibroverb. Now if I wind this part here up, the compressor, I feel like I'm losing some of the treble, but I'm getting more sustain, and there's more noise, of course. It thickens it up in a way as well. If I drive it right up, you can hear the highs creeping back in. kind of got a sweeter tone. So I think the in control on this pedal is really nice. It's got a really nice preamplifier which pushes the sound of your amp really well. So the blend control enables you to blend between the single stage compression and the dual compression. Plenty of sustain here, especially when you move into the dual stage and move it clockwise. If you're new to slide guitar, it's really about getting your guitar set up first. If you can get that right, the string gauge balanced to the tuning, you're going to have a lot more fun when you get to using effects like this. Now, this pedal is really well made. You know, there's nothing cheap about the design here. The construction's quite heavy. The preamp in it is obviously of good quality. And the blend control is really interesting that they've got the two 1176 compressors into this compact form. I'm sure Lowell George would have really liked this pedal. It's really his trademark sound, that whole dual compression thing. But you will find other creative ways to use this pedal. For example, a Gibson guitar and a lower wattage amp. I mean, that would be really cool as well. I think it's about just getting the right balance with how much treble you're going to have and how much compression is going on. So depending on your guitar and your amp, that's always going to be different. Lowell used a Howard Dumble amplifier. I think he put a Telecaster pickup in the bridge position of his Strat, probably to get more bite and just that balance between treble and compression. I think that's maybe what he was trying to achieve. Now, the SlideRig's not the cheapest pedal out there, and there are other compressors you could try to get a similar type of vibe. It won't be the same as this, but you know, it'll be compression. The MXR Dynacomp was a popular compressor that was used a lot in the 70s. I think Little Feat used that as well. So you might want to check something like that out if you don't want to spend as much money on this. But if you want to know more about open tunings and string gauges and the best way to set up your guitar for slide, you might want to check out this video here.